Hello, everybody. This is very. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the quality of the picture. Hold on a second. Hi, everybody. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Hope you had a great Christmas celebrating with your family or whatnot. For me, I've been home all day, just chilling by myself. Yeah. But I will expect some company in a couple of hours. So yeah. So we're 65 people. Ooh, that's the most we've ever had on a live stream. But on the other hand, I haven't done much live streaming. Merry Christmas, Harry, and all my best to you. And Marius, Merry Christmas. I'm doing okay. Alex, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Russia, Elena. Oh, I can't wait to come back to Russia, seriously. Brazil. Black Brass, thank you so much. Thank you. Again, I apologize for the poor quality of the webcam, but um, it's better than nothing, I guess. Yeah. Oh, all my best to you, to Belarus. Trust me, we are waiting to hit the road. Jesus Christ, I'm so tired of just sitting at home not doing anything. Ah, good jul. Tired lines? Are you Swedish or did you just translate that cheat? Gustavo, thank you. Well, it's a powerful song. It's one of my favorites. Thank you. FG, yeah, I would love to come to the United States. Let's just say that we're working on it. And before this whole COVID thing, Ben, greetings, Ben. Majid, thank you so much. Merry Christmas. No, of course not. Canada, how can we forget Canada? Rodrigo, greetings back to you from to Mexico. And of course, Javier, Panama. Wow, it's nice to see so many people from all over the world. Syria, Panama, Italy. Sweden. Brazil, of course. Yeah. Indonesia. Salam. Toxic. Thank you so much. That that that's kind of you. Wow, feels like I'm like back to the 90s or something with this horrible camera. Hopefully it's gonna work out okay. I think it's gonna be okay. Bristol. Thank you, Karen. Hello. So we got the first question from La Elanora's Wood. What my favorite song from the new album? It's very difficult. It's very difficult to say one song because this album means a lot to me. But it's also it's a very difficult question. Um, Actually, I don't know. It's very difficult to just say one song. But I do love Sleepwalkers a lot. I can. I think Sleepwalkers kind of it has everything that the album contains somehow, you know. And I also love the fact that me and Heike were singing together at the same time in that song, and it's a very good chorus, and so it's a song that actually means a lot. Hello, Ahmed. Greetings back to you. Naden, thank you. Greetings to you. All right, okay. Let's see if I don't miss anything. Um, what we're planning for 2021? Well, the tour that we wanted to do is obviously postponed, but the other shows that we have scheduled for next year is still as yeah. For now, nothing has been canceled, so I cannot wait to get the band together and just hit the road, man. That's that's all I can think about now. Birken, which one was the hardest track for me? I think Ascend into Darkness because it's there's a lot of vocals in it, and the verses in the song is very there. There's a lot of verse. There's a lot of verses in the song, so in order for the song to become as good as possible, I took I took my time with that song. Yeah, the Morning Star. We've been talking about this for many years, many years. We never produced a version of the Morning Star that we are 100% happy about, though. That's the problem. Richard, thank you. All right, I need to move a little bit faster here. Janelle, thank you. Yeah, that's what I like a lot in Moon over Sabaoth when we sing together. Ricardo Hail Safle. Yes, of course. Yekazol, Burial Fields. The lyric have an uncanny synchronicity for me. I'm even now living next to an Eolithic burial site. Please tell me the story behind the lyrics. Well, it will take a while to go through that. Um, um, the title of the song kind of just stuck with us because we used the title "Burial Fields" as a working title. It really doesn't have much to do with the album or the song itself. We just decided to stick with it because it just felt wrong not to call it Burial Fields. Uh, but the song is about it's you can say that it's kind of a Sophia um, crying out to her consort. And if you want to know more about that, I suggest that you read about Gnostic cosmology. But I wanted the song to have a kind of a human approach, so it would be easier to um, take it to heart, so to say. So I chose to write it in a way that it would be easier. Many people you could see it from different angles. Um, okay, let me just keep up here because I'm not used to this much people in the chat. So, but I'm so happy to see you all. Um, we will come to Poland on our tour. Deletrix, my favorite um, thing about Gnosticism. I think it as much that it kind of preaches a dark version of reality that we're kind of stuck here in this prison matrix. Even though we have all this whole bad scene for us as a human species, we are there is still hope. There's still a very good message about hope and that you are, and also it's about connecting to what you truly are, a sense of home, you know. That's what I like about it. My favorite part. Marius, how much time did you spend? I didn't spend that much. The album is not written in a way like in some kind of Therian, Therian mytho. I mean, I wouldn't like to call Draconian mythological in any way. I just read enough and to feel some kind of connection with it. And when you feel, when you have a sense of connection, then the writing comes naturally. I would say. So if you just get it, you just understand where it's coming from, then the writing will happen because that's what I'm after. Every time I want to write and I sit down and write, I want that connection. I want to have that sense of feeling like I am part of something. And if I understand something, then I can connect to it in a more personal way, and that's when the best writing happens, in my opinion. For me, Maid, thank you so much for your compliment about the sacrificial flame. May Sales, thank you, thank you, thank you. Karen, what's my favorite band? I don't have any favorite bands. I mean, I have it. It varies, but for many years, I think Pink Floyd, bands like Pink Floyd, and neoclassical bands like Eland, Dark Sanctuary, and Arcana. It's um, always going to be my favorite bands. Whether it was 10 years ago or 10 years from now, it's always going to be my favorite bands. So Pink Floyd hits very hard for me, and also dark, dark age, new wave bands like that. What do you think, Birkan? What do you think about the COVID? I hope that none of your shows have been cancelled. Well, I have alluded to some information prior that our tour has been postponed, but as it comes to the other shows that we have uh, planned for next year, nothing has been postponed. We were supposed to play here in Sweden, but that got postponed. Though. But for now, only the tour has been become postponed, unfortunately. Okay, that's a good question. Salvador Rios Dalmas is asking here: is there any song from your past albums that you would like to remake? We talked about this on the Patreon live stream some days ago, and I would love to remake some older songs with just to have it out there with Heike's vocals. Songs like Death Come Near Me, She Dies. Just because I say that I would like to hear this doesn't mean that it will happen, though, of course. But Heike is such a big part of the rebranding of Draconian that, and we did do 5 albums with Lisa, you know. So this new, if you want, if you will, Draconian uh, with Heike, it would be amazing to hear some of the songs, some of the more famous songs with Draconian with Heike on vocals. She does it so well. Also, she does it very well. What I'm listening to right now, well, I am well, I'm still listening to the same album I did 5 minutes ago, but um, it's "Falling Deeper" by Anathema. Thank you, Nuno. I appreciate it. Elena, you're asking about empty people in the Gnostic mindset. Well, what they are talking about, what the Gnostics were talking about when they spoke about like empty people or so-called hylics, um, it just means people who don't really care about who they are or the potential that they're carrying. Because I do believe that we we as individuals we're carrying a tremendous amount of potential. And but in the end, what I also like about Gnosticism in the spiritual sense is that it's up to you to find that. It's up to you. No one is gonna force you. This is your relationship to yourself. So this kind of individualistic approach to spirituality is actually something that I like a lot, because you don't see that much. You don't see that approach to spirituality or religion much with other creeds, if you want to call it a creed. But yeah, that's I appreciate the concept of God even when it comes to Gnosticism, because they are talking about God as something that exists inside of you, uh, nothing to be worshipped, or that you have to, bend your knees for something, because you already have it inside of you. And when you realize this, then the real training, the real waking up is could happen. But empty people, so to say, that's basically people who are um, a little bit like the Demiurge and his archons, artificial intelligence, basically something that breathes without a soul, without a soul. But we will, I think that there is tremendous potential within each and every human being. I would love to come to Turkey again. Hey, Andrei, nice to see you again. All right, I realize I need to uh, go a little bit faster here. Brian Thompson, about my growls. Uh, I am bound to agree with you. I think my growls has did improve also because we had a tour, and we had we recorded the vocals in our own studio, so I had more time to go back and fix things I didn't like. And but it basically came down to that I did way more I had way more more time to practice. You know. Thank you for saying that, man. Gustavo, I don't know, man. I'm just feeling it. Masum, yes, we are planning to come to Turkey. We are actually talking about it as we speak. So stay put for updates. You mean like a live stream, like a, yeah, yeah, we do actually. We have talked about it, and it will happen sometime during the spring. Toxic Zombie, yes, of course we would perform in Dubai. There is no reason not to. Actually, in the last 10 years, we have got, there has been some interest from Dubai, but the timing and placing has not been on our side, unfortunately. But sooner or later, I will see you there. Forest 75. I don't know how it feels. I don't see myself in that way. I'm just very grateful that I'm doing something that works for people, you know. About Alea, well, I could say a lot of things about her, only good things, of course. Unfortunately, we never got to meet before she passed away, but I did know her a bit, yeah. And actually, it's interesting because just yesterday I was putting her album on Trees of Eternity. And we're having some friends over, so and I was playing that album. It's it's like a timeless album. But she was a very kind, heartfelt, and also very spiritual person. Um, I have only good things to say about her. Vandad, you were asking me if I ever considered to use my like real voice singing. Yes, I have thought about it a lot, but let's see what happens. I'm very modest when it comes to my real voice, and sometimes I have like tried things in the studio, you know, and especially this time since we had more time on our hands because we were recording in our own studio. I was trying some things out, but I didn't feel comfortable with it, and I'm very you know overly self-conscious when it comes to my own clean voice. Roman Kurtik, I feel you increase female vocals for its generally more popular than girls. Um, yeah, there is no. We didn't increase the female vocals this time as some kind of because we wanted to change the sound of our band in any way. I just felt that when I listened to the pre-productions, I felt like the, in the way uh, these songs were written, it would they the songs themselves would benefit more with benefit more with more female vocals, more of Heike's vocals. I was like I was listening to the songs and I was just hearing her. I was hearing all the potential. So even though I'm one of the front people in the band, it was my idea to front more Hike in this album because I think the songs kind of called for it, and it's more important that the songs are as good as that they can be. Then I get some extra growls out of it. It's for me, the Draconian song needs to be more than that. Um, yeah, I don't really have any home recording equipment, unfortunately. I should get some though because I do have a. I would like to do some more work with my YouTube channel. Toxic Zombie, are you still in contact with Lisa? Not so much, unfortunately. Johan is having more contact with her family. Unfortunately, I haven't been so good in keeping in touch. Duelo de Monstruos. Do you have any side projects? Actually, I do have a couple now, but it's in the making. It's in the fetal stage, so to say. So I don't really want to talk too much about it, but I have two other projects on Draconian right now, and hopefully we will be able to show you some of this music next year. I'm very very excited about it actually. Bug Shush, you were asking about the Ibn al Arabi quote in the beginning of the Sophia video. No, I haven't read any of his books. I haven't, but I know well of who he is and what his general disposition on life was. And the quote was actually something I was finding when I was looking for Sophia related quotes. But this could be about just the divine feminine in general, not necessarily about Sophia. But I think that quote fitted perfectly. Oh, Roy Dragon, that's a very good question. Wow. Actually, I don't know right now, but it's a very good question. If you could choose a special and exotic place on the planet to do a draconian concert, which place would you choose? Well, but what do you think, guys? Maybe this is something we could come up with together. Actually, I don't know. So many beautiful places in this world. This is something that I have realized after all these years of traveling around the world. There's just not one place that I could settle. I don't think so. I'm always so intrigued and by each new country I visit. Harry Lee, you're asking about old demos. Shades of a Lost Moon, Close Sides of Paradise. I would love to. This is a question that has been, for good reason. People have asked about this for many, many years. The problem is that uh, the sound is terrible on this. We don't have the original um, tapes, so we cannot even go back and remix it. But I'm actually do think that our first demo, Shades of Lost Moon, it is a good demo. It is a pretty good demo. Nicolas Ibarra, Akamoth is Sophia in her fallen state. As she, Sophia is the goddess of wisdom, but when she is in her fallen state, she's called Akamoth. Akamoth. She is trapped in between this world and the highest realm. So she's kind of trapped in between there, and so she's a fallen goddess, and that's what Akamoth means. Casimiro, yes, of course I like Opeth. I've been a big fan of Opeth ever since their first album. I'm old, so I do remember the early days. um, it's very funny, Opeth is one of the few bands who got I think they got a record deal only from their first demo. as early as the first demo, they showed so much potential, so they got signed immediately. And if my recollection isn't true, I apologize, but I think that's what I remember. David Albin. Uh, I don't really have any rituals or any things that I have to like prepare when I write my lyrics. They everything usually comes to me at the spur of the moment. If I'm if I go out to the store to do some shopping or whatever. If if I'm doing some the dishes, if I'm just taking a walk outside, I don't have to have any rituals. It just comes to me. The trick, though, is to take care of the opportunities, because usually this streamlining consciousness source of inspiration um, usually comes at the worst of times when you don't really sit with a pen. Crimson Rose, thank you so much. All right, I just need to. I cannot answer everything, unfortunately. Gastovo, Gastovo, Devil's Moon. That's very funny. Yeah, Devil's Moon is actually I have a actually like that song. It's so wonderfully naive. Elandil, yes, I love Moonspell. I've been a big fan since their first album. Wolfheart is still my favorite, and the Irreligious. Yeah. If I know Michael in person, no, I do. I have spoken to him privately a few times when we met backstage, but not more than that. Yes, True Infectious Waters would be great actually to play. Salvador Rios, it that's a very that's a big question. So I will just unfortunately have to skip that one for now because it doesn't take for me. Yaldabaoth is just a name for the demiurge, the first known name for the demiurge. Um, and Sabaoth has can have different kinds of meanings. But when it comes to the whole cosmology kind of thing, it's a can of worms. If I open it, it spill all over. But I do appreciate the question. It shows that you think about the lyrics. It's not just names and words. Um, oh, Andrei Kostin, happy holidays, and thank you for a great album cover. Brian Thomason, I wouldn't say that Napalm Records has any influence on us as a band. What I can say though is that they've always allowed us to be the band we are. They have never tried to interfere or to change our sound or even come with suggestions. They have always let us have our own journey. They they've been very, very considerate in that way ever since the first album. The only opinions I think they had was about some band photos on the first album, but apart from that, they've been great. I'm not sure, Eduardo, if I understand your question. How do you hold when singing with the guru's voice? No, I don't. Zhao, yeah, I agree. Death Bell Omega, I keep hearing so many good things about that band. And yes, of course, I've been listening to them over the years. But it's not one of those bands that I always return to. Always when I hear their stuff, I like it, but I never return to it, unfortunately. So I don't have any favorite album by this band, unfortunately. Ines Ramos. Ever thought about a collaboration with Gogo Malone? It would be great. Yes, I have. I I have thought about it, and I do love her voice so much. It would be amazing to. It doesn't have to be like a new band or anything. Just if I could just get her on something that I'm connected with, I would be very happy. But there is some stuff, some things happening. I was talking to about side projects a bit earlier, so I do have some ideas. Let's see about next year. Just keep your eyes open. Erik Jagos, no, I don't have any favorite hockey team. I'm not interested in sports, unfortunately. Sports and gaming, no interest at all. Sometimes that makes me a very lonely guy at social gatherings, let me tell you. Again, my favorite bands are stuff like, Pink Floyd, uh, Eland, Dark Sanctuary, Arcana. Um, I love Summoning a lot. Yeah, but it changes from year to year. Saturnine, okay, it's asking about the idea about writing about Sophia came to life. It was because I was listening to a podcast or a lecture presentation by Terence McKenna when he was talking about the Sophianic myth and Gnostic cosmology. And the way he spoke about this moved me, and her story moved me very, very much. So that's how it came to be. The podcast is available on YouTube. It's called Gnosticism and the Early Christian Church, I think. So if you want to listen to it, just go to YouTube and type that in. Cthulhu Rising, yeah, it's a great song. I agree. It would be cool to play live, actually. What kind of bands I would like to tour with? Um, I guess I will just keep going back to the same answer as I always. I get the I tell you guys the same answer every time, and I guess that's because it hasn't happened yet. It would be My Dying Bride. If we could tour with My Dying Bride one time before I passed away, I would die happy and with a smile on my face. Even if the tour would be shit, I would still be happy. So My Dying Bride is my favorite. It's my dream. Maybe it will happen. Maybe it will happen. My favorite kind of metal genres. Uh, I guess gothic doom metal. Actually, the kind of music that we play in Draconian is a big inspiration on me. Um, Also, I like progressive stuff. Um, Also, old school black metal and death metal, I would say. But I find myself not necessarily listening to a lot of metal these days. It doesn't have to be related to metal. It could be anything as long as it moves me in that way, in some way, you know. Tiamat, yeah. I started listening to Tiamat like 1992 or something when they released The Astral Sleep because that album was very well marketed. And so I bought it and it was very, very special. I still think that's probably one of the most special death black related metal albums coming from Sweden still. The Astral Sleep by Tiamat. It's amazing how meaningful that album has been. All right. Uh, if I'm slow with your questions or if I miss something, just bear in mind, okay? Just bear with me. Um, Eduardo, I'm okay. Gustavo, you're asking me about my favorite book. When it comes to nonfiction, um, when it comes to fiction, I mean, I think The Sorrows of Young Werther by Goethe is my favorite. Everything it's just like 170 pages or something, but since I don't read much fiction at all, um, it has always stayed with me, that book. How it's worded, the prose in that book is amazing. If you ever want to study how to become a beautiful, beautiful writer, just study the wording and the language in that book. Um, my interpretation of claw marks on the throne, also a big, wide open question, um, which I'm sorry, I actually don't know how to answer that in a short way. But it's definitely one of my favorite songs on the album. That's for sure. About Fiorella, you were asking me about the song Away. Of course, I remember it because I wrote it. Um, yeah, it's a different kind of style as well. It's more like melodic death metal with some doom passages. But you know, I was like 19 years old or something when I recorded that demo. I'm 45 now. You know, I'm basically fucked, and so no wonder if my growls are different. Funny stories from the road. You know, sometimes journalists ask me this question when I'm on the phone with them, and I always cringe because I'm sure we have a lot of funny stories, but I just cannot come up with anything when I get the question. I think most the for me the most funny stories is stuff related to certain members and certain situations that is very related to Swedish humor. So Fredrik, Fredrik played bass for us for many years. He was always the comedian in the band, and I still miss the guy. I still miss the shit out of him. Out of him. Fiorella, you're asking me about what it's like to live in Sweden. Well, from a very subjective standpoint, only lived in Sweden, so it's difficult to compare. I can say that I know for a fact that Sweden is one of the countries that has the highest living standard in the world, and for good reason. For good reason, we have a we pay a lot of taxes, but I think we get a lot of kickback from it as well. It might not be a cheap country, but you get something back from that money that you pay extra here in Sweden. It's one of the cleanest, most yeah, the cleanest countries in the world. I think I read somewhere. Even to the point where we have to import trash from other neighboring countries just for our energy consumption. It's crazy. But of course, I don't really pay much attention to Swedish politics and stuff like this. But we are social democratic, and it's been like this for almost like 100 years, um, off and on. So we kind of sometimes we take our good life for granted, and that makes us arrogant sometimes. That's the downside of it. Favorite goth bands? Salvador Rios Delmas. I would say The Mission. Uh, it's the same like. I'm sorry to be boring, but for me, it's the Holy Trinity. The Mission, Feels Nephilim, Sister Mercy. I mean, it's just amazing. Sergei Tarabanov. Thank you. It's very nice to read. Mm. Always makes me happy when I see that someone appreciates what you're doing. Birkan, about playing songs from the new album, of course. If the tour would have happened as planned, of course, this would be a tour to promote that album first and foremost. So half our set would be on Regardless Veil songs. Mm. Steven Wilson, yes, I listen. The Raven That Refused to Sing is probably my favorite album of his as a solo album. But I'm a big Porcupine Tree fan. And when it comes to Porcupine Tree, my favorite album is Stupid Dream. But I also love their earlier, more proggy stuff as well. I have a soft spot for the more rough style for a country as well. Bernardo Ribeiro. Theatre Tragedy is among your favorite bands. Yes, their first three albums is three of my all-time favorite albums. To be honest, it's it. They never grow old. Never. Every time I listen to Velvet Darkness, for example, I always hear something new. Still, after all this time, and it's such an important album, or their whole style is so important for this genre that I am part of as well. So I was actually writing with the vocalist there during before even before they got a record deal. I bought their demo, but I really I don't know what happened after their third album when a band who got famous by their sound chooses to do such a 180 turn style wise. I don't understand why don't just change the name of the band. I remember how I was so disappointed. And you know what album I'm talking about. Okay. All right. I'm sorry, guys. If I miss some question, obviously I cannot answer to everything. But if there's some question that you feel that I missed, please don't hesitate to write again. Okay. All right. I'm going to answer to Roman Kurtik. He's talking. He's saying that he's asking if I have any style definition when it comes to the band. He also says that Descend into Darkness is the most draconian for him. Also, of course, when it comes to the growl female mashup. No, we don't. I mean, after all this time, it kind of happens by itself. You know, we don't really have to think about it too much. I know what works in the band, and so does Johan. As long as Johan and I are in the band, it's always going to be draconian. And yeah, Doom 0104. Yeah, as I said earlier, I would love to remaster early demos or even re-record, but we're not the same band anymore, and we don't have the masters, unfortunately. I would love re to release this old material for you guys, but we just don't want to release something that we don't like listening to ourselves. I do love actually everything that we've done because I'm a big fan of Draconian myself. But sometimes the productions messes that up. Yeah, Castle. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, Burial Fields is indeed a special song. Deletrix, the first band I ever saw live. That's a good question because I I think I saw a lot of you know like local acts when I was young, when I was out with my parents and stuff. But the first extreme metal band I ever saw live was Entombed, Unleashed, and Morbid Angel. I was 16 years old. It was no, I was 15 years old. It was 1991. Yeah, and Morbid Angel has just released Blessed Are the Sick, and it remains to this day. It remains the most important concert I've ever been at. Excuse me, I'm just checking my computer here. I'm just see if I can get some music playing. I'm sorry. All right, all right. What's the meaning to you in minus infinity? I'm sorry, Valed. I'm sorry. I don't understand the question. David Aubin, you're talking about our world, and also you're making a connection to our song "Ascending to Darkness." I think that when we're born into this world, we are already ascended into darkness. Excuse me, I just had to put the charger in. Yeah, I think this world is the darkness, the material world. But what the song is referring to is that they say that when you die, there is a light. They call it the light at the end of the tunnel. But according to the Gnostics, you shouldn't go towards the light. It's almost like that, lady in Poltergeist. Don't go towards the light. But the Gnostics said the same thing. Don't go towards that light. That's a ticket back into this world. It's like basically like a reincarnation thing. So, but if you don't go towards light, if you go in the other direction, that's the dark. It's they call it it's a silent void full of like the feeling of non-existence, and you need to be there before you can find yourself again. So that's what the song title refers to, at least. Saturnine, yeah, I hope so too. Also, I will. Also, I actually cannot wait to get back to Greece. I guess I'm a little bit biased when it comes to Corfu because it's actually Corfu I want to go back to, not to Greece. But maybe I will just stay put. But no, there are no updates about the Greece show. So as far as I know, it will happen. Tired lines, yeah. Well, I wouldn't mind to play the Sathian. Actually, we didn't expect that song to be so popular that it is, because we actually had some problems with that song. We had all these different parts and we didn't know how to put it together. So Johan was actually quite worried that this song is, oh my God, this song is going to be, you know, this this complicated relationship, when You always have, as a musician, you always have some songs on each album that you make that have a complicated relationship. But it came out wonderfully, wonderful, and I always love that song. I just have one or two things that I would have preferred in a better way when it comes to the mixing. But overall, it's a very, very powerful song. Elora, Eleo, Elesnora. Yes, I like Sins of Thy Beloved. Both albums, very good. I still listen to it. Unfortunately, I'm the only one in my circle of friends that are listening to that kind of stuff. So most of the time, I'm listening to this kind of music by myself. Djävulens produktion. Thank you so much. Yeah, happy to read. Valesius, if I bought a Christmas present for Heike, no, unfortunately I didn't buy any Christmas presents this year. And Heike is in South Africa. I cannot see her anyway. I have a lot of respect for Behemoth 7 Artworks, but I don't really listen to Behemoth. If I read Stieg Larsson's Millennium trilogy, of course, I haven't. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to answer in that way. I haven't read it, but I have seen the movies. As I said prior, I don't read much fiction at all, unfortunately. It's just so much to learn about stuff, so I don't have any time for fiction. Doom0104, thank you so much. I'm very happy to hear that it made to the playlist, so to say. Thank you. We have been waiting for this album to drop for so long. Bug Shash, if I tried psychedelics, yes, I have. I don't want to, I don't want to talk about drugs, since I'm representing draconian to some extent, and it's always a touchy subject. But I don't view psychedelics as drugs. But let's just say that, yeah, it was. It's always very, very educational when you put yourself under the mercy or non-mercy of Mother Nature in that way. And it's also one of the reasons why I cannot consider myself an atheist. Um, I'm definitely not an atheist after I tried these things. It's all about listening, you know. You don't even have to talk about drugs or anything like that. Everything is about listening and understand what you're listening to. Threshold HVM is asking about if I ever heard Chelsea Wolf. Yeah, yeah. I'm a big fan. I'm a very big fan. It's probably my favorite singer-songwriter in the doom rock style. I also like Anna von Hasselhaus a lot. She's from Gothenburg, and she released a new album not so long ago. That's very good. But you're true. It's correct. Chelsea Wolf is extremely bleak and sad when she allows herself to be that way. I mean, a song like "They Will Clap When You're Gone," for example, if you just listen to that lyric, it's so, I don't know. I cannot explain it. It's just beautiful. Mm. Fiorella, do you like this social media era? And both yes and no. I like that it's easier now to reach out, to be able to reach out to more people, but the easy access also takes away some of the magic. But in the end, I mean, we can still make it what we want with it. So, um, but I must say that when it comes to music, it was easier to find new bands when there were less of them. I hope that makes some sense. But now, when there are so many bands and they're all online, sometimes I just struggle, you know. That's a very interesting question. Max Photo 78 is asking, do you think music awareness can help resolve world's problem, the world's problems? I don't know, but I do believe that the problems we face is because of the lack of understanding who we are, and the music allows us to remember that in some way. So in a way, yes, but it's in the end, as I said about when it comes to Gnosticism, also in the end, it's about you. It's about you make of it. The truth is already out there. It's about it's on you to realize what's your truth. And I have realized a lot of truths about myself through music. Okay, Doom 0104. Appreciate that, and I'm glad that our music helped you. This is reading stuff like this, and getting to know these kind of things means more than any money or anything like that. If I know that our music has helped one person, I feel like we have done our job. Eduardo Valencia is asking, what do you think of current music that does not make sense in its lyrics? Um, I'm not. I don't entirely know what you mean. Okay, Djävulens produktion is asking again. Uh, the video for Sleepwalkers was not shot in Sweden. It's shot in Russia, in the living area where Natalia Drepina resides. So it's all her work and her interpretation and her locations. This? Yes, it's a dream catcher. Yes, indeed. I actually have many dream catchers. I have one there. I have two over there. I have one sitting by the uh, door. It's not like conscious decision to fix to have a lot of dream catchers. I just known a lot of people who made their own dream catchers. So I think this one Heike made actually. All right, let me continue here. Album of the year. Thank you so much. Dark Mysteria. If I like Nightwish or Epica symphonic metal, I do like the idea of symphonic metal. I don't listen so much to it. I do, you know, I'm not a big Epica or Nightwish fan. Unfortunately not. But I do have some albums that I like Wishmaster and what's that blue album? Sorry, I sound like a dweeb. Um, if I enjoy Rotten Christ, yes, very much. I was listening to Rotten Christ even before they released their first full-length album, and their first full-length album, Thy Mighty Contract, is actually still my favorite album of theirs. Aitsiber Alaya is asking, what ballad would you recommend me to play for my partner? Hmm, I don't know. Why not Burial Fields? It's a huge question because there's so many good ballads. Duelo de Monstruos. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. It was time to bring it back. It was time to bring back the old logo. Roy Dragon. Thank you so much. Thank you. Sebastian. Hello, Mr. Sebastian. Emmanuel Scarlett. My inspiration for Lustrous Heart was actually a man called Miguel Connor and his podcast, Aeon Byte Gnostic Radio. I even some of the wordings in that lyric is actually directly taken from his words, and I think the lyrics speak for themselves there. Uh, Yao Casimir, yes, I am a very big fan of Porcupine Tree, especially Porcupine Tree. But I think Steven Wilson's best solo album, in my opinion, is The Raven That Refused to Sing. And it's also a very beautiful album cover. No, I never lived in Stockholm. Uh, in general, who I am as a person, I do prefer to live in a smaller town or village. I'm not a big city kind of guy. Uh, as I stated prior, no, I don't listen to much stuff like Behemoth or overly satanic music. It's not because it's satanic. It's just I just feel like when I have my black metal when I get into that phase, which I can do sometimes, only listen to old albums, like old Dark Throne, stuff like that. Eland is one of my favorite artists ever. Thank you for asking, Doom 01, because Eland is remains the Luciferian Revolution from their second album remains one of my absolute favorite tracks. I cannot remember how many times I've had like goosebumps and tears that's been like falling down my face listening to that song. I resonate so much. It was also it also inspired me when I was writing a poem some months ago, and I had the scenery of the Luciferian Revolution or that whole album inside my head when I was writing the poem. So Eland is timeless for me. Erik Jagos, if we have considered to record with Peter, actually, I don't think so. I think we talked about it at some point like a bunch of years ago, but no, we haven't. We have after all these years, we have found our go-to producer, I would say. My thoughts about MGLA. That's the black metal band, right? I really don't have much. I don't have any opinion about them. I know that some years ago they were part of some controversy or something. Did it have to do? I don't know what it had to do with, but I really don't know anything about them. I just know that that album that they released is really good. Fiorella, this is of course a personal question, but without revealing too much, I can say yes, a lot. Ever since I was in my early teens, I've had mental health issues, and I also eat medication for it. Bucket Sebastian is asking, what would be your most definite check mark with Draconian? Does that mean like the most memorable memory? um, I don't know, man. I would say maybe our second gig in Israel, 2009 or 8 or something. That remains one of the most best gigs we've ever made, and our Blood Flower video is taken from that you can see online is taken from that show. Also, when we played in Mexico was very memorable. Performing with almost 39 degrees fever. Gorgalozon, Gorglazon. How many years did it take to get your vocals? Uh, it doesn't work like that for me. Um, it doesn't work like that. For me, my vocals sound good the more we rehearse, the more we play, the more I keep active at it, the better it sounds. Um, so it's not something like I've been like achieving in a way of taking classes or something. Uh, I've been singing. I've been growling off and on ever since 1991. But I think I do have. I think I have generated some kind of sound with my voice because people can hear if it's me who's making the growls or somebody else. So I do have my own sound, so to say. I just it's just not anything that I have tried to achieve. It's just the way I sound. Bob Shash is asking if I have established any methods for fans who don't have visas or worldwide online bank to purchase. Well, when it comes to all the merchandise things, it's handled by management. Um, but apart from the fan club, actually, I don't know. I think I haven't thought about it. In my opinion, just listening to our music um, and trying to have and having some sense of understanding of it is more of a support than I can ever ask for. But I'm sure. I mean, even if you don't know how online banking works, um, I'm sure you could get the right help. And if this is something that will reoccur, this question, which is a pretty good question, I will talk to management about this. I realize now that you can barely use cash anymore for anything. It's crazy. I couldn't even buy a cup of coffee when I was in the neighboring town some weeks ago. I only had cash, but they only take, credit card these days. Mm. Chris, what's my favorite song to play live? Actually, I don't think anyone has asked that today. But for me, personally, um, it's always a scenery of loss. That will probably always remain to be my favorite live song. I also like to play Drowning Age a lot. It's a very fun song to play live. Forlorn. I think your question, Johan has not left the band. So yeah, Johan, without Johan, it would be a very, very, very different Draconian. So he's still in the band. As long as me and Johan are in the band, we're gonna we are going to sound like Draconian. Sebastian, no, I didn't celebrate Christmas this year at all. No problems, João. João. How do you say your name? João. João. Casimiro. Yeah. Thank you so much, and happy to help. We would love to come to Brazil. For 20 years, you guys have been telling us to come to Brazil. So it's about time, right? Bernardo Ribeiro. No, um, I wouldn't like to live in that way. No, I do love December. I like the long nights and short days. People who know me, they know I'm not much of a sun person. But I wouldn't to live like that would be a little bit of a stretch even for me. Yeah, I think what you're referring to is like polar darkness when the sun actually never rises during. I think it's like 3 months. Birkan, do you even listen to your own music, just like you're now listening to them? Yeah, it's funny because I never. I can listen to. As I said before, I'm a big fan of our own style, our own songs. Yuan's musicianship is amazing. I'm a big fan. So I am in the band, but I'm also a Draconian fan. So, um, but I cannot really listen to our own songs unless I've been drinking some alcohol or something. When I feel a little bit more, uh, when I have a little bit more of what shall I say, bravery. I feel more brave, and I appreciate our music more when I've been drinking. Yeah. Roman is asking about With Love and Defiance and if it could somehow fit on the new album, considering the theme of the song. I haven't thought about it, and I haven't been listening to that song in a long time. Uh, I think it was during Sovereign that the lyrics on Sovereign is it's difficult to describe, but it does have a Gnostic tone to it. And now when I see your question, I agree with you. It would be a nice song to play live though. Amanda, thank you. Yeah, Merry Christmas. Let's see when the tour is gonna happen. That's the thing. FLN is asking if the pandemic has permanently influenced Draconian in a way that we are rethinking the band. No. Well, it's difficult to know since I don't know how we where we would be now without the pandemic, but it's it's a good question, but it's difficult to answer. The thing is that writing music and writing new material, this pandemic is giving you a lot of space and room for that. That's for sure. But with this isolation thing, it doesn't really give away so much for incentives to write. It's crazy, when I was working before I left to Corfu, and I was working, I came up with a lot of good, you know, ideas for lyrics that I was thinking of, when I was active, when I was doing something. And now when I'm just sitting on my ass in this sofa, there's nothing to do. Right now, I'm unemployed, um, so there should be so much time for just writing and just furthering yourself in that way. But seriously, you need to have some kind of activity in your life to find that spark of inspiration. That's something I realized. Arthur Ritter is asking about Vincent Price movies. Yes, Mask of the Red Death, of course. Um, I really love Vincent Price's voice. Uh, most of all, I love his voice. Jeremy Bonso, do you celebrate the holidays? No, not this year. I'm not. Also, the situation with the corona. My parents are elderly, so they are only hanging out with their own immediate family. They are not hanging out with people who are seeing other people, if you know what I mean. So I haven't seen my mom this Christmas, unfortunately. Threshold HVM is asking, can I ask about the failure epiphany? Most heartful song for me. What was the plus? Okay. This is a personal thing. I don't want to talk too much about it. I can just say that um, that whole album, Turning Season Within, is apart from one song, is about relationships. In each song is inspired by a relationship that I've had, and and that song is maybe the most poignant of all these songs when it comes to the relationship. Um, but it's inspired by it. I cannot say that the songs are about that, you know. But they all share a common theme. How what was inspiring to me when I wrote the album. Uh, but the failure epiphany is very personal to me, and I don't know if that person know I wrote a song about a period in my life that was shared with this person. I don't know if that person knows about this. It's not a person I ever haven't talked to in a long time. So. But that's besides the point. I think what makes the song so that it hits, in the heart is because it came from a real deep place. Also, what I like about Failure Epiphany is that it's very progressive. It has a lot of like nice surprises, if you know what I mean. But the song is very very personal to me. One of the most personal songs I've written, I think. Sebastian, I'm not sure I understand your question 100%. Thank you. I don't know. I mean, I think when it comes to metal bands in general, I have realized over the years that metal people are very modest. They don't take themselves for granted. They are always very humble and polite when you congratulate their music. I'm a metal fan too, and every time I talk to a band I like, I see there's a lot of humility. Pe- People are very humble, but I think metal is and will always be, at least if it's lived in the right way, that it tells the story of the outsider. You know, that's how metal came to be. That's even how rock and blues came to be. The outsiders. It's music by outsiders. Okay. Salvador, you're asking about through infectious waters. Um, it's a very dark song, yes. It also fits the style, in the age right now, because the song is about a kind of a pandemic. Um, but I wouldn't say it's the most dark song to me personally. I would say for me the most dark song that we made. I know what you mean when you say ominous, because it's more like not necessarily like a personal revelation, but more like a worldly thing. But still, I would say that the cry of silence is probably one of the more darker songs that we made. And the original version, demo version of "It Grieves My Heart," very ominous, I would say, in my opinion. Um, I guess the demo version of "Death Come Near Me" as well. I'm Cthulhu, obviously. Oh, excuse me, I need to go back and look at your questions here. Um, Seven Artworks is asking about gaming because Hike is a pro gamer. The thing is that what makes me the lonely guy in a room or conversation sometimes is that I'm not a gamer whatsoever. Basically, I'm just not. When I But I do have a favorite game though, and Heroes of Might and Magic Part 3, all expansions, of course. That's probably the game I've been playing most in my life. All of the um, Part 2 and 3, I think I played the most. And I also know that I have some friends who wants me to play like the fifth or sixth version, but I'm not really a gamer. But when I do play games, I just have one favorite game. That's Heroes of Might and Magic. I know that Heike is a big Overwatch fan. This is like the game that she's playing the most. I'm not sure if it's like this still, but I remember. Forlorn is saying the newest album to me has a much lighter overall sound, more akin to Theatre Tragedy or perhaps Chelsea Wolf, when compared to previous albums. Was this a conscious choice or a natural progression? I would say the latter. It was a natural progression. I would say that this album, Sovereign, goes a little bit, in all kinds of different directions because we were trying to find ourselves a little bit. I think after Lisa left the band again, we were still like fumbling around in the darkness a little bit. Um, and Sovereign is the soundtrack of that, in my opinion. The new album feels more cohesive, more coherent. Um, I would say feels like it's more thought was has been given to the theme and to the marketing itself. But we also, with this album, we have also gained new management, and that also has something to do with it. I think now with our management, we are more professional more now than we ever been before. And trust me, Draconian is a band that needs management. I'm very grateful for our two managers. Roman, that's a good question. Interesting, because I haven't even thought about it. This is the first time I understand the connection, and I haven't thought about it until now. So obviously it was not intentionally. Ah, I think I'm going to listen to this song when this stream is over. It's a good song. Hello, people from Brazil. All right. Um, Bug Bug Shash is talking about purchase and right. Since this is the second time I see this kind of questions now, I will make a note and I will ask our management about this if because here in Sweden, everything is about credit card. When you go to bigger cities, you cannot even use cash in most places anymore. All right. I'm just reading some of your questions. Threshold, yeah. Uh, let's hope for that because the Failure Epiphany is actually one of Johan's favorite songs as well. So next time we come to Moscow, yeah, I want to play it. It's one of my favorite songs with Draconian, so why not? Rider Death Thank you so much for that comment. Bernardo, if we want to play in the Wacken, of course. I mean, there's if we get the opportunity, why not? I mean, it would be stupid not to. I love to play festivals in general. Godless on. Well, thank you so much for that comment. Thank you. About Canada, no, we there. I haven't heard anything about this. But why not? The thing is that if you want us to come to your country and play, you need to talk to your promoters. You need to talk to venue owners and production companies to make it happen. Um, Otherwise, it won't. You know, Draconian does not choose where to play. We get offers and we say yes or no to the offers. Tiago Sena is asking about biography book. We haven't thought about that at all. I think maybe that's something for a later project. My favorite Swedish band, Ricardo is asking. I don't know. I mean, I probably Opeth. I'm sorry for the boring answer, but Opeth is one of the something that we should definitely be proud about in Sweden. My favorite Opeth album is still Morning Rise. And all you people who are saying nice things about us and the new album, thank you so much. Erik Jagos, thank you. Yeah, I've seen on like some lists that our album and the new Dracon Parasolost album has been very high up, and it was such a privilege to top the list of a metal. What's metal? It's like a big, significant list. Metal Storm, I think. That was very nice. I cannot believe it actually. Do I have imaginary friends? I guess so. I guess so. But in the end, it's just, you know, me or you being friends with yourself, finding a different identity for it. It's just you bonding with yourself. Mikael Åkerfeldt did not work with us on Turning a Season Within. I was, I know I've been, I wanted him to do some guest vocals on, I think it was for um, a Rose for the Apocalypse, but he declined the offer. But I would like to collaborate with. Oh, there's just too many people that I respect. It's difficult to just choose one. But now when you're asking me, there's just so many. So I find it difficult to just find one. Um, But of course, him would be amazing. I mean, and I think half of it is also because I respect him so much as a human being, not just as a musician, but just as a human being. He's just such a beautiful person. But of course, Aaron from My Dying Bride. If I could have like a growl off, like a song where we were both growling at each other, that would be that would be a dream come true. That would be a dream come true. All right, let's see. Georgios is asking about vinyl reissues of older albums. Uh, I don't have any news, unfortunately. But this is, in my opinion, obviously something that needs to be taken care of. My favorite food, Birkan, is asking me. I won't say any particular courses of food, but I would say Mexican food, Indian food is my favorite foods, and I like spicy, very very spicy food a lot. Uh, Fiorella is asking if I consider myself a shy guy. Maybe a little bit, yeah. I think it has more to do with being um, it's like an ADHD thing because I have severe ADHD. So sometimes when I seem shy, it's not that I'm necessarily shy, it's just me having obsessive thoughts about myself as a third person character in the situation. So I think I come off as shy and modest because I don't take anything for granted, really. Definitely not. Okay, people call me modest when it comes to my own work, but it's because I don't take it for granted. I know that tastes vary, and we don't hear things in the same way, and we also listen uh, with a pair of very subjective ears, and we relate to things in our own way. So um, I don't expect people to like what we do or what I do. So maybe that's. But I would say that I'm pretty shy. I think. Yeah. I don't like anime that much. I do. I grew up with some, anime like Silver Fang and uh, stuff like that, Star Singer. So I still have a big respect for the artwork, but I'm not really big on animated movies. When it comes to Heike and Overwatch, I don't know. I don't know. I seriously don't know. I know that Overwatch is her preferred game these days, but I don't know what she's playing right now. Come to Syria. Well, I actually would love to see Syria. I just don't know how the situation works when it comes to Syria. Um, I just know that you have a big country there, and the media is showing a very small portion of what's going on in Syria. But I know for a fact that Syria is a very big country and that it has a lot of many different variables um, to it. And yeah, Bernardo, yes, I like actually many of Ingmar Bergman's films. I have at least half of all his films on DVD. Um, some of my favorite Bergman movies, I would say that Viskningar och rop, Whispers and Cries, I think it's called in English. Viskningar och rop is my favorite. And Persona, of course. Persona is one of the best movies ever made. Also, like um, his relationship-based movies, like Sånger från andra våningen and movies like that. I think he portrays the human internal suffering very, very well. Name of the band, yeah. Before I joined the constellation that was to become Draconian, I used Draconian as like some kind of I don't know, like an artist's name or something. Like I was signing my own poems and my own lyrics with Draconian instead of my own name. So I call myself that. And when I joined Kerberos, I was like jokingly saying that, okay, maybe we should be called Draconian. And Andy, our songwriter and the guitarist at the time, thought it was a great idea because he really liked the fantasy aspects of dragons and stuff like that. But for me, it had more to do with like Qliphoth and Kabbalah and stuff like that. There is something called draconian magic in Qliphoth. It's about journeying inside your own darkness, because we have dark, what should I say, unexplored aspects of ourselves where we carry a lot of potential. There might be a lot of potential in these unexplored regions of the self. So the practice of this was called draconian magic. So that's where I got it from originally. Roman Kurtik is talking about "With Love and Defiance" again on "No Greater Sorrow." Yeah, you might be right there about that. Actually, it's not something that I've been thinking about, but "No Greater Sorrow" is one of these songs that we never really played. I do really, really enjoy that song though. It was supposed to be on Turning Season Within. No, yeah, on Turning Season Within. But yeah, we had to skip one song because lack of time in the studio. So we skipped that song. We actually skipped. Yeah, we have at least like one or two songs each album that we had to skip. Unfortunately, we never really record these songs. Um, Lily is asking me if I have any happy holidays. Thank you. You're asking me if I have any pets. Yes, I do have a cat. He's 16 years old. It is a Turkish Angora. Yeah, when it comes to ADHD, I don't even want to call it a disorder anymore. I actually choose to see it as a personality trait. I don't dislike my ADHD. It's a part of who I am. I mean, my favorite writer. That's a big question because, but I would go to the romantic English poets. So if I had to choose one, it would be Percy Shelley. Eric Jagos, yeah, I should probably reach out to him. I mean, he knows who I am, and I should probably. It would be very nice to have like a song together with Aaron. Amazing. AMM is talking about from Athens. It's talking about the Swedish punk scene. If we had, yeah, I mean, when I grew up, most of my friends were into punk. I was never much into that at all. But of course, I did have some. It didn't escape me entirely. So I was listening to Abba Grön, for example, Strebers, Dia Salma. So Sweden has a very big punk scene ever since the 70s, basically, because Sweden also has always been a very left-leaning country in general. So of course there will be a shitload of punk bands. So if you want to dive any deeper into Swedish punk, you have a whole new world to explore. Yes, Camila, you're talking about psychology and Jung. Yes, I think some of his some I like what I like about Jung is that he's willing to approach uh, a personality that it not the mystical approach to your person. That's what I like about Jung. I also like the idea about the logos and the shadow self, that you have to fall in love with your darkness in order for your light to shine through that darkness. And I know Jung got a lot of shit for his attachment to the mystical, but I think that's what made him different. He also talked a lot about Gnosticism. I mean, the Seven Sermons of the Dead is basically um, like a Gnostic prophecy that he was writing about. But it's a lot. Jung is this kind of person. It will take a lifetime to completely be able to absorb his approach to psychology. You just take what you need from it. Okay. Uh, Alessandro Burio, you're asking me about the football team. I don't know, man. I have no interest. I just don't have any interest in sports. I'm sorry. My favorite hobby is watching series and movies, also reading or listening to podcasts, stuff like this. Feeding the mind is what I'm doing most of the time, most of each day. Jennifer Heiner, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really hope we will have the ability that we can come to America, because so many of you guys are reaching out to me, and but I'm not completely 100% sure that I can even access that I can even come to America by myself, because I do have a conviction in my history, and that might be a problem. Yes, I can understand Norwegian and Danish. Not Danish. Maybe 70% of it I understand, but it sounds very different. different from Swedish, but I understand most of it, and Norwegian, all of it, I can say. Wicked Lady, thank you so much once again from Brazil. Just reminds me that we should definitely have to go there soon. Lily, are you talking? Wait. Ellen, are you talking about No Greater Sorrow? Uh, anyways, there is a pre-production version of No Greater Sorrow available online on YouTube if you want to listen to it. It's without female vocals. Shash is, I'm sorry, I cannot answer to everything here, but Shash is asking about what I think about the topics of sacred geometry, vibrations, and frequency. I think it's more about understanding what it is and and try to to reassess your relationship to reality, because everything is frequency, everything is vibration. Um, you just need to learn the language. So for me, it's a very open question, but let's just say that I'm open to it, and Heike has been a very good teacher when it comes to these kind of things. I know that Nikola Tesla talked a lot about these kind of things. Camila is asking, do you know what your type of the 16 personalities would be? I'm trying to type you. I don't know, 16 personalities? Hmm. That's very difficult. I don't know. I guess I'm just me. If I like to cure, I would say that Pornography and Disintegration, these two albums are two of the most important albums when it comes to darker music in general, I would say. And it's beautifully written. Sebastian is asking if I have a favorite wine. Yeah, I would love to have my favorite wine right now. Um I don't. I have a favorite grape, um, but not necessarily a favorite wine. No, I prefer Pinot Noir, and in the last year, I've come to appreciate more of the Italian wines. I think one of the best wines that I can buy in the liquor store right now is one of the more cheaper wines. It's an Italian wine. Always, most of the time when you see an Italian wine, it will be okay. It's not gonna. It's never bad, in my opinion. Even the bad ones are good with Italian wines. Ah, AMM, yeah, Anticimex. Oh wow, yeah. Gives me Makes me think about a time in my life I haven't thought about in a long time. Hmm. Yeah, Jennifer, why not? If you would ever have a reason to leave the country, Why not to see Draconian? Yeah, Kaner Gürdian or something is asking about William Wordsworth poem that we used on the first album, "A Slumber Did My Spirit Seal," and honestly, it's one of those tracks that I would love to re-record. It's still it is great the way it is, but Draconian with Heike is a different band. Um, I would love to re-record it with Heike, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Bernardo is asking if we consider to record a song in Swedish. Yes, for many years actually, many years we have talked about it, but just never happened. Maybe now it will because you brought it up. Marciella is asking what Draconian song is the one that you like the least. Oh Christ! I guess I will. No, no. I don't know. Uh, Sorry for the boring answer, but I actually don't know what my least favorite song of Draconian is. Threshold asks, "Did you watch the Supernatural series finale?" Actually, I haven't seen Supernatural at all. Sorry. Well, if the the god is a badass, you mean you mean more like a bad guy? God is the bad guy. In that case, it will be Gnostic. But Supernatural, no. Unfortunately, I haven't watched it. Salvador Rios is asking, "Were you ever raised as a Christian or something like that? And when did you start to?" No, Sweden is actually quite famous for its high percentage of atheism. I wasn't raised in any with any kind of belief. My family is not religious at all, so I didn't grow up with any religion. Kanner, no problem, no problem. It's a good song, so why not? Hassan, hello. My favorite band, I guess, Pink Floyd and Eland. Uh, Timeless Black Eyes. Yes, we have. There has been some. We've had uh, contact and conversation with Argentinian promoters, but nothing came into fruition. All I know is that when this COVID thing has died out, we do have some business with South America. We just need to figure it out. There's so much getting back into business, after this COVID thing. It's going to take some time to come back into that mode again. But I know before this COVID thing happened, we were actually talking to South American promoters about doing a tour in South America. Excuse me. My favorite song, there are so many songs recorded in this world, Assad. But why not? Um, I would say "A Saucer Full of Secrets" with Pink Floyd, the live in Pompeii version from 1973, and the Luciferian Revolution by Eland, and The Wake of the Angel by Eland. These are three of my favorite songs. Should Sweden become a republic? No. No, I haven't watched Hannibal. I was thinking about doing it, but I just haven't done it. My thoughts about Opeth is that it's probably the best band that Sweden has ever produced. Ah, cool. I remember that. I remember that show from Istanbul very, very well. It was a fun weekend. Aradia is asking me. No, I'm sorry for not answering the question earlier. But the thing is, I don't have any tips for learning harsh vocals. I don't even. I cannot explain the way I do it. I I don't have any special technique that I use. I mostly use my throat. I use my throat more than people think. Um, I don't use my stomach as much as most other growlers are doing. All right. So we're 2 hours and 20 minutes into this stream. I will not. I will stay for another 15 minutes. Carolina, actually, our tour has been postponed to the next year, the year after, 2022. This news will drop next month. Um, Unfortunately, COVID screwed us completely when it comes to this. I'm really looking forward to this this tour, but unfortunately, it will be postponed. Lurking in the dark, thank you so much. That's very nice to read. I don't know, Sebastian, why we came back to the old logo. I think it was like chance because I was talking to you on the phone. I remember, and we were like talking about what if that this photograph that we used for the cover, uh, because we were discussing the old logo that is kind of boring and we need to have something more interesting, especially now, and just for fun we checked how the old logo would looked on this picture, and we just loved the way it looked. So that's how it was not like a conscious decision with an agenda or something like that, but I think it was like the right moment in time to come back to the old logo. We only used the old logo on the first album, so it's definitely about time. uh, when it comes to Greece, our the as far as I know, that festival hasn't been canceled yet. So as it looks now, we're still playing in Greece. Right now, I don't remember the name of the festival, but I'm sorry, Aradia. You will see us at some point. Thank you, Marcella, for Eduardo. What do you mean? Design logo. You can you can do whatever kind of fan art you want to. Then you can send it to us, and we will share it. I think we have a folder with all the fan art, well, not all of it, but some of it. Yeah, Turkey. We have something. Yeah, something in the works about Turkey. Bernardo is asking if I like System of a Down. Well, I like. I kind of don't care. I know that they released a new album, but I haven't listened to it. I was never a big fan about the new so-called new metal, more or the more modern styled metal. Forlorn is asking to take Draconian if we consider to taking on a larger scale. Well, for me, I know that some of us in the band are having families and stuff. Excuse me. Excuse me. Um, so we cannot really be as we cannot really tour, more than maybe once or twice each year. Um, but for me personally, I wouldn't have any problem with it. I would love to be on the road as much as possible. Yes, HSN is asking about if there's a chance for meet and greet. Yes, of course. Why not? We always love to meet you guys after the show, so why not? Sef Zero, yeah. We have played in Romania a couple of times. Always a great experience, and I love to be in Romania. Romanian people is amazing. Natalia is asking about shows in Finland. No, we actually haven't played in Finland at all, which is strange because it's a neighboring country. But my favorite song by Opeth. Oh my god, that's very difficult. Reverie, Harlequin Forest is probably one of my favorites. Ghost Reverie, it's a very good album. One of my favorites. Um, I also Night on the Silent Water from Morning Rise. Also, it's also very very good live. That song. Black Rose Immortal, of course. Aradia, what I think about Harakiri from the Sky, I have only good things to say about that band. Amazing, amazing people. I have a lot of respect. I would love to tour with these guys again, actually. Bernardo is asking if me and Heike can do a Q&A together. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure we can do that. Just takes a little planning, but I will talk to her, and maybe next time we can do like um, live stream together, or maybe I just wait until she comes back to Sweden. Let's see. Arthur is asking what the most memorable show is we played. Uh, we have many memorable shows, but I would say our second show in Israel in 2008 or 9. I think it was 2008. That for me was one of the most memorable shows. My thoughts about Catatonia is great. I haven't really got into the new album, but I'm a big fan. I have been a big fan since since they were a demo band. Mm. Ahab, thank you so much for showing up. I appreciate it. Marciela, yes, I like Shape of Despair very much. In particular, their first two albums. I'm not much of a Nightwish fan, unfortunately. I like their early albums, you know, Oceanborn, Wishmaster. Yeah, Demon's Gate. Yeah, thank you for for the memory. Now I remember the name. Uh, Bucket. Yeah, Sebastian. Yeah. Yeah. Well, why not? In the end, it's about how it looks on the album. You know, if the artwork works with the logo, then we will use the logo because the logo, you know, let's face it, it's still a quite black metal looking logo. You know, so it needs to fit the overall narrative. Um, Roman says something about Moon over Sabaoth. Is it when when I was uploading when Heike was putting some vocals on it? Because I remember I was sharing that on Twitter. Because that's actually one. It's the same song. It's from the real takes, you know. But you know, always when you hear like pre-productions or just random recordings like that from the studio, it's never going to sound the same. Bernardo's asking draconian how known draconian is in the mainstream in Sweden. Not that known, actually. There's a saying uh, that you're never a hero in your own country or something. And I think that fits us because we never really get any shows in Sweden. Doom and gothic sounding stuff is not big in Sweden, unfortunately. Seven artworks. That's very nice to read. Thank you so much. I'm glad to share this Christmas with you guys. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Favorite black metal band? I don't know. Early Dark Throne, I guess. Early Dark Throne and early Emperor. Sebastian is asking, what do you think of V Becky's return? I didn't know that she had a return. Wow, that shows how much I don't know. So you mean that V Becky is back in Tristania? Wow. Well, we do live in an age of you know, going back to your roots. All the fucking bands are doing this, but Draconian always remained the way. You know, it always been like this. I love Old Tristania. What's not to love? All right, Roman. Okay, maybe I will go back and listen to it because now you made me curious. I think I seen the name Forlorn. I think I've seen the name Advent Sorrow. I remember that it's not new to me. This is not the first time I hear about this band. But thank you for the suggestion. I will check it out. I'm going to leave here soon, so I will listen to it right after. Camilla, what personality test? Anyways, thank you. Ooh, Arthur is asking me what got me into heavy metal. I don't know why I liked it, but I was very very young. First time I was intrigued by metal or hard rock. I was like 5 years old or something, and my neighbor played Kiss for me and Deep Purple, made in Japan, the live album. Okay, Bernard. Okay, interesting. I hope it's good. Aradia is asking what books about Gnosticism would you recommend? I would say The Gnostic Gospels by Elaine Pagels. Elaine Pagels. I will write it here. Uh, just hold on. Uh, I would say if you only have one, if there's only one book, that's the book. But of course, I would say you need to read the Nagamari library, all the books, all the gospels that they found. Um, but that goes without saying. But reading about something is not the same as reading it. So, but sometimes it helps to read about something before you actually go into the Gospels themselves, because it's more useful if you actually have some idea about it before. Trust me. Bob Shash is asking what kind of methods I use when I write my lyric. I don't have any methods. It just comes to me, and I just need to take. When it comes to me, I just need to write it down, or I take my, or I grab my phone and I just write it down, because sometimes it's just one word that gets me going. If I just hear one word, and I feel, wow, this could open up the door to a whole new lyric. So that's all it takes sometimes. You just need to have, it's very important, you just need to write it down in some one way or another. But I do write on, I do write, I don't write with ink anymore, barely ever. But I do carry this. It's like a notebook I carry with me when I go somewhere. So of course I use ink, but mostly I just put it down on my phone, write it down on my phone. Bernardo, no, I don't know this band. I do like post punk though, because I'm a big Susie and the Banshees fan. Or I realized in the last year, I think, that I'm a big Susie and the Banshees fan. I didn't realize this until now, but I'm so much into their style. Yeah, forlorn. Yeah, I think this goes for so many artists that I have met over the years, that they listen to a lot of music that is not necessarily resonating with the music they play themselves. I mean, right now, um, I'm listening a lot, at least in the last year, a lot to new age music, new wave music. I mean, like early '80s electronic music, and I like it on a deep personal level as well. So the journey you make as someone who appreciates music never stops, because it always paves way to new things. Black Brass, thank you so much for showing up. And thank you so much, Ishatar. I really appreciate it. HSN is asking, is Draconian happy with Heike's melancholic lyrics? I don't know what you mean, really. For this album, I wrote all the lyrics. Heike wrote, I co-wrote Sleepwalkers lyrics with Heike, though. No toxic loud. If I consider myself a Satanist, no, definitely not. If you talk about the morning star, in that case, I guess you refer to Lucifer, and I don't see Lucifer and Satan as the same entity. So I am not a Satanist. I never was a Satanist. Sebastian, I didn't know that Chase of the Lost Moon wasn't available, but I could definitely fix it. I do have the lyrics on my other computer. No, I don't have any. We don't have any copies left, of course. We only printed like 200 copies of the first demo. Kazurol. Thank you so much. That's a very nice comparison, though. I don't even. I'm not worthy to be mentioned in the same sentence as Charles Baudelaire, but thank you so much. Eduardo, thank you. Thank you for saying that. Yes, I have seen Bernardo. I have seen fucking Åmål several times. It takes place in Åmål. Yes, it's just 15 minutes away by car. That's where I worked earlier this year. It's a very nice, quaint, beautiful little town, Åmål. I could actually see myself moving there. All right, all right, guys. I think I'm gonna close down the stream now. Georgios, yes, we have been talking. We are gonna make a live stream next year. Just stay put for some updates, and hopefully it will be to your liking. Yes, I know what you mean. We we are planning something like that for next year. Ah, tack själv, Tired Lines. Tack. Oh, in Karlstad. Karlstad is just 45 minutes away from my town where I live. Sebastian, likewise. Thank you so much. It would be strange if you wouldn't be here. You were such a constant, Sebastian. Yeah, stay safe, everybody, and please be careful out there. These are weird times, and I see no indication that next year is going to be so much better. Hopefully, when it comes to creativity and writing new music, yes, but 2020 has been a very, very disastrous year for a lot of people, and so I think I really hope that next year is going to be better, but I don't think it will. All right. Thanks so much, guys. And I will talk to Heike about doing a live stream together with her. I know you guys would appreciate that. Right. So, Merry Christmas and have a great new start of the new year, okay? Bye.